I got some snacks here with me in case I get hungry. Alright, we're live now.
Yep.
Do present mode. Alright, welcome to the very first Pompaliwood Podcast with just me and Luke, Kevin and Luke.
Yeah, two guys, man. Colossal
Guys, man, yeah, both have YouTube channels and they're both really popular, so go check those out.
Yeah,
I should have put a link to the things in the description, but it's all good.
Well,
Alright.
it's done. It's over.
What's that?
It's done. You can't unchange it.
Yeah, I know. Oh well, next time. We tried to stream earlier at it's like 10:15, and then we tried streaming at like 9 Luke. I ran into some troubles with my computer and everything, so but I'm streaming on my Mac now, so it's going pretty good so far. Anyway,
Oh,
yeah, it's not too horrible. We don't expect a lot of people to be watching this first time around. It's just to mainly get used to the whole process and everything. Anyway, we'll be talking about a number of things. Just looking through the slide right now, Luke. Luke can't actually see what I'm doing on the slide because this is over Discord and he can't see my screen. So, Luke, we should have just done the, how on Discord you can talk to each other like one-on-one and you can look at the other person's screen as well.
Yeah.
Alright, that's fine. Anyway, we're gonna be talking about games, film, ourselves, Pompaliwood, because that's like the best thing, and finishing off with TV shows. So yeah, Luke, you have anything to say?
Yeah, nah, not really. I think we should just get into it.
Yep, cool. Sorry, I'm currently eating some chocolate from the Philippines. I got back from the Philippines like this week.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, too much information. So for games, Luke is actually he recommended that we talk about this one. I don't actually play the game myself, but it's called Division 2, or The Division 2. So Luke, what is The Division 2, and why is it so hyped?
Well, it's a game made by Ubisoft,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't actually played it myself. I do own the first Division, but I have not played it yet. I've had it for about a year, but I have not played it. So I don't really know that much about it, but I know that it is quite hyped up. I play Rainbow Six Siege,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's also made by Ubisoft. So
Is
I'm
it
not entirely sure what the game mechanics are, but
I'm pretty sure it's a shooter, right? It's a shooter game.
it's a shooter. I'm pretty sure.
All right,
So
cool.
pretty much, if you ever played Rainbow Six Siege, that's a very popular game as well. I think that
Is it quite similar to this?
I'm not sure if it's similar, but it's made by the same people, or at least the same
Oh, cool.
company, and they both belong to like the Tom Clancy kind of franchise.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say on the
they've got their own different kind of branches to it. So.
Yeah. The image I have here it says Tom Clancy's The Division 2. So is that why he's?
Yeah.
I don't realize. Is
he's
he the
some
guy?
writer.
He's not the guy who voiced Mr. Krabs, right? That's another Clancy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I was gonna say no. Okay, anyway.
No, he's some author. He's an author.
Yeah. Tom Clancy. Yeah. All right, cool.
So pretty much, if you like games like Rainbow Six Siege, this is what you've got to be looking at. The Division 2.
Is it team based?
It came out a bit over a month ago, but yeah.
Ah, I see. Well, I'm still. I had a look at it earlier on Google, and I saw like articles from 3 days ago about it, so it's still being talked about. I wouldn't say it's It's still pretty popular right now, so I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely not the most hyped up game, but
I mean, this is the first time I've heard about it.
Pretty popular at the moment in terms of new things in the industry. So.
Mm-hmm. It's not a. Is it a battle royale or is it not? Because
nah,
it seems to be.
Not battle royale.
I'd say we're quite oversaturated at the moment with those types of games.
Yes.
And they're
Apex is kind of.
Yeah.
It rose and it burned.
and the most talked about battle royale game is talked about for really bad things. I won't say its name because you all know what it is. All right.
Yeah.
Shall we? I don't have anything to say about games. At least recently, I haven't been really keeping up with many franchises or any new ones. In fact, maybe.
Me neither.
Yeah. Next stream, I'll actually hop on to I
do think the new Halo game's coming out this year.
Halo. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Another Halo installment. It must be quite
Halo.
Is Halo actually doing well as a franchise? Is it still
Yeah,
attracting good.
it's still popular.
Well, it definitely was
It's
like
still doing reason.
games ago.
Yeah, it was announced last year at E3, so...
I'm just gonna double check our stream. This will be the last time I check, just because I don't want anything to. I'm just gonna check right now.
Also, other popular games coming out this year. Gears 5.
Gears 5.
Yeah.
Right. Just present.
They're made by I think they're made by... publisher is Xbox Game Studios, but what's the developer?
And what's that like, Gear 5? The Gear franchise, I mean, is it a...
I'm not entirely sure, but it's a pretty popular franchise, so...
Alright, anyway, it'll be
it's part of the Gears of War franchise.
Alright. I swear I play games, guys, I just haven't been keeping up with the recent ones.
Oh yeah, it's developed by the Coalition.
This Gears 5 still.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Alright. That's basically it for games, I guess. You wanna move on to film?
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah. Because the first game, I'm not sure about the other games, but the first game was developed by Epic Games.
Wow,
so,
really?
Back in 2006, yeah.
Oh, they've been in business for quite a long time. I thought they were just
Yeah.
Because I keep forgetting that Fortnite's actually, like, it's been around for a while, longer than some people realize.
Yeah, it's been, 1.5 years now?
How long?
1.5 years now, I'm pretty sure, at least.
Oh, really? I thought it was a bit older than that, maybe around 5 years. Because I saw, like, some alpha versions of the game.
Battle Royale was 1.5 years.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, the actual game's been around for a while.
Should we talk about some Fortnite lore? No, we shouldn't. Alright, moving on. So, film. We've both seen Endgame already. We both
I just saw that about 6 hours ago.
So, Luke, since it's freshest in your memory, what's your takeaway from it? What would you really like about it?
Well, I mean, I have to say that, spoiler warning, if you haven't watched Endgame, you better...
Probably skip to... skip to about...
You can't really skip because it's a live stream, but just... Yeah,
I mean, if people are watching this in the future...
Yeah, ignore this and just...
Well, I mean, if it's been a week
come
since...
back in 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say, but... Pretty much...
Wait till we're off of this slide, and then that's how you know.
Yeah. So... Endgame, so that war scene at the end. Bro, I have to say, that was a really hype.
Yeah, it was.
It was. You could feel the feel. You could feel it, right? It had the feels.
Yeah, definitely. And I belong to the population of people that watched it that don't really read the comics. I've never read a Marvel comic in my life. A lot of people really get off of that scene, I guess, because it's so well put together and everything. But
I do.
From my standpoint, having never actually read the comics, it was still really good. The best thing about the movie, one of the best things I thought was the atmosphere, obviously, because it went from being all, dreadful and you could really sympathize for the Avengers in the first act and everything, to being kind of like what we see in most Marvel films,
tense.
Like really inspiring and tense. The climax is really emphasized, I guess, and that's just in superhero films in general. But this one,
in that moment, that Doctor Strange had all those forces coming out of his portals.
Yeah, exactly.
I felt, I could feel the emotion of the characters on the battlefield.
Oh yeah.
I could feel Captain America when he was relieved.
Yeah, I mean,
it was such a hyped up fight, right?
Yeah.
That we knew shit was gonna go down. We knew stuff was gonna go down.
Yeah, obviously, and I was really I was really confused at the beginning because that spoiler again. Thanos gets his head chopped off within the first 10 minutes, I think, by Thor.
There's 5 minutes actually.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, how are they going to bring Thanos back to for the climax, and everything? But they're really smart with the plot, because they essentially what they did was they brought him back, and then he's the same threat. But a lot of people, I watched some reviews of Endgame, and I saw that some people kind of didn't like how they wrote Thanos' character at the beginning, towards the end.
Yeah.
Do you agree? because it's like
Yeah, I can agree with that. He got
Wait, hold up. Keep
tedious.
talking.
But for example, Kevin, you still there? Yeah, this is some unexpected interruptions.
Alright, sorry, I'm back. Alright, so I was taking a call. Anyway, was that Luke?
Okay, yeah. So anyway,
Avengers Endgame?
so yeah, he got a bit tedious because he knew that he saw himself get his head chopped off,
Yeah.
and he just said, "This is destiny." And I thought that, he would have tried a bit more if he knew what was really at stake. If you know what I mean.
Kind of. This is when Thanos saw himself get killed, obviously.
Yeah, like when they go into the main timeline,
Mm-hmm.
he just sits there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he just.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not really there's no character development at all.
I mean, him sitting down and letting the Avengers go to him. I thought that was like pretty interesting. I didn't think it was a dumb move or anything, but
Well, yeah, but
his character definitely picked up a lot towards the end. Like you started to see a bit more of his character from Infinity War, and he was talking about how he was going to kill like all things in the universe, so that and he had a really cool quote. He was like something to do with how if you kill like half the universe, there's always some that can't be like who failed to see what can be. How his quote went like that or something. Yeah, I thought that was pretty. He had a lot of good quotes in the film. And he was still like his presence might have been a bit like less what the producers of the film thought it was going to be. Like he kind of weakened in this movie, but I thought overall it was pretty satisfying to see him come back, and obviously a lot of people knew he would die eventually. It was just a matter of how he would die.
Yeah.
And how
Another
things
thing I
would
want to talk about is Captain America with Mjolnir.
Yeah. What about it?
I think he could use it a bit too well.
He was pretty experienced with it. He was swinging it around, yeah.
Like, he picked it up right away. He was using it better than Thor ever used Mjolnir.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm pretty sure that it might just be like a like if you're worthy or however they put it. I guess it just comes with knowing how to use it, I suppose. Like
Maybe.
What I mean. But I thought that was pretty interesting.
Another thing that this is a bit of a nitpick.
Yeah.
But the fact that he could use the lightning so easily as well.
Yeah, that was a bit. I was a bit taken back by that.
Because when you look back to Thor Ragnarok,
mm-hmm.
Odin told Thor that the hammer was there to help him control his power,
mm-hmm.
not to give him his power.
But then Captain America just goes and does it like without any education.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah. When I first saw that, I was like, wait, how is he doing that? And I remembered Civil War, right, when he was able to like move it an inch when the Avengers were having like a little.
Was that Civil War?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, it was.
It might have been Age of Ultron.
Yeah, Age of Ultron. Sorry. I thought that it was pretty funny how he was like full on able to like destroy Thanos with it like for a little while. Even though he'd never, that was pretty cool. Yeah. I like how he used his shields as well.
I got really scared then for a second as well when Thor disappeared, like from the timeline with the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
When he time traveled and then he went back to the prison with the hammer. I was going, oh crap.
Yeah.
If Marvel forgot about that, but then Captain America did return it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And also, I did figure out a plot hole as well related to time travel.
Mm.
And that's. Well, it's kind of hard to explain, but you know how and when you go through the quantum realm, everything's faster,
like time functions differently.
Well, no, it's slower, isn't it? It's a lot slower. Or is it faster?
No, I think it just means that it's not necessarily slower or faster. You could just enter it at a certain point in time, and then leave.
Yeah, and come out another.
Yeah.
The thing is that when Hulk, at the end when Captain America went off, and then they said, "Oh, how long will he take?" And Hulk said 5 seconds. But for him, he can take as long as he wants.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, does that really make makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense because like regardless of how long he spends in wherever he's going, right? He can
They're just going to teleport him back anyway. So why can't they just teleport him back within a second?
Oh wait, was he in charge of his teleporting back, or were they in charge of his teleporting back?
Well, he was teleporting him back because he clicked the buttons.
Ah, right. So he was doing it himself then, Captain America.
Nah, Hulk was clicking the buttons on the
Oh,
thing.
Hulk was. Because my. Oh, okay. That is pretty confusing then, because I thought he was just doing it by himself.
Nah.
All right. Well, I don't want to get too deep into like the mechanics and everything, because I'm sure there's lots of plot holes, especially like diehard Marvel fans will find them quite easily. So I don't want to really get into that territory too much. But I think the way that they handled while we're talking about it, the science in the movie is it was pretty believable. I think as a whole.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Like with the what's that shape called? It's like those things you make in primary. It's like a strip of paper, and then it's like one end is twisted and you join it up. There's a name for it. The one that Stark used to help him like design the timetable thing.
Some inverse thing.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty. It was pretty cool. The way he talked about how time travel is really hard is pretty accurate as well, because obviously it's a whole lot of things we don't understand quite yet. But yeah. So as for the science, it was pretty good, and justifying things. Do you think the characters like rounded off quite well in this film? Like, are there any that you think you Because certainly I think the ones that got the best send off were Stark and Cap. I think I'm pretty.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that's also because they're the ones that aren't going to come back for another film. It's like
yeah, and they've already had the most because they have their own franchises, obviously.
Yeah, and Chris Evans has already pretty much confirmed that he's still coming back.
Yeah.
He doesn't show any indication that they're doing another film or anything.
Well, I mean, good on him for knowing when to stop. Like, if I were in the MCU, I'd probably cap it off with this movie.
I can agree with that because it allows because you still got another whole career ahead of you.
Yeah, and you don't want to be typecasted or anything like
Yeah, so it's better to just move out of it, go into some new boots, go on a new journey, and then just have your character stay the way it is instead of just wasting away that character for ages, like we've seen in Star Wars.
Yeah,
some Star Wars characters.
I'm just gonna say about the actors in the Avengers universe. I think it's really cool. I follow some of them on Instagram, and just the how when they release new films, they make a page for it on Instagram, and there's behind the scenes things, and of course it's all over YouTube with the interviews and stuff the actors have with Jimmy Kimmel and all that stuff. I think it's really cool how they interact with each other. The character who plays Sam or the Falcon, right? He's quite funny. I didn't know that in real life. And what do you call it? The guy who plays Vision as well. So I can't remember all these names because I'm not like a super into it fan of Marvel, but I do appreciate it. Yeah, but
apart from Brie Larson, there's not much chemistry.
A lot of people, both with her character and just the actress herself, right? A lot of people don't like her because
that's the thing. Captain Marvel. I mean, they did her some justice in Endgame.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't have that much screen time, which I was okay with because honestly, I would have gone bored with just watching Captain Marvel on screen all that time. But
the movie itself, I didn't really like the movie.
It did show that she was not as powerful to defeat Thanos by herself.
Yeah, I mean Scarlet Witch lasted quite a long time. The only reason Thanos was able to escape her was because of the, how he told his servants to fire all those rockets and stuff. Yeah, but Captain Marvel actually got pwned by him.
Yeah, but then that's another thing. So is Thanos more durable than a spaceship?
Yeah. I mean that.
So if you think about it, if a spaceship was to crash into Thanos, would he survive? Would he just stay standing?
That's true. You could apply that to
in the Captain Marvel movie, she was ripping spaceships apart, and even in Endgame, she was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
For a little bit, and.
No, I see what you mean.
What did Thanos do? Didn't he catch her punch or something?
Yeah, full on.
Yeah, then he threw her on the ground or something. Yeah.
I mean, that could be justified by like just the superpower argument. Like you could just easily say that it's because such and such make up something.
Yeah.
But for the science, again, I don't want to get too much into the science of how the characters get the powers and everything. Like, obviously, like the one thing I have with Ant-Man, the one thing I don't like about his character, right, is like the argument that his voice would be a lot more high pitched if he were really small, because with vocal cords and everything. But again, I don't want to talk about that because it's like some of those things you can just skip over and then.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? 'Cause that's true, right? With Ant-Man, if he was small, when he goes all miniature, his voice would be like, firstly, like barely audible because he's so small, and really high pitched as well.
Yeah.
I thought the scoring for this film was really good. Alan Silvestri, I hope I pronounced his name right. He composed for Back to the Future as well.
Ah.
Yeah, and that's like when I think about the score for Back to the Future, I think of like I think it's quite empowering and stuff certain times. So I definitely saw that, like, I heard that reflected in this movie a little bit.
Yeah, I also want to talk about the choreography.
Yeah?
There wasn't that many amazing shots.
But in what way? Like, amazing and...
just, like, interesting shots. If you look at John Wick, or...
Oh, yeah, well, John Wick is more on, like, the stylish side, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's not so much, it's more kind of generic.
I guess, yeah.
In the game. But one thing I really liked is that the camera panning was really smooth.
Camera panning? Oh, yeah.
It could go in every direction, and it was so smooth. I really enjoyed looking at it.
And it's hard sometimes trying to, I'm guessing here, but incorporating CGI into, like, real-life stunts and stuff, it's quite hard to do, and they do it all the time in Marvel films so well that we kind of take it for granted. Like, the one thing... Oh, yeah, sorry to compare it a little bit with Infinity War. I'm sure a lot of people are comparing it to Infinity War. The choreography was probably a bit more hard-hitting in Infinity War. Like, I could feel, I could feel more the strength in some of the punches and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Not to say that this is, like, bad or anything, but,
Yeah.
But, I think overall, I said to Luke as well, I enjoyed Infinity War a little bit more than this, even though this was, like, like, wrapping everything up, because of how... Like, Infinity War was really bold in having that kind of ending, and how, like I said, the choreography and the feeling of how, like, they might actually lose this time. I thought that was sustained pretty well in Infinity War. With this movie, it's like it's gonna end well, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can agree with you there.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I never really had a doubt in my mind that it was going to end really, really badly or anything. It was kind of expecting it.
Yeah, part 3 to this wouldn't be the best thing as well. They'd kind of drag on for a bit.
Yeah. And also another thing about Endgame is that it was pretty long.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And also, another plot hole I have as well. I mean, it might just be bad character writing, but Nebula, man. Like, she had the chance to just time travel back, but she didn't.
What do you mean? For which part? I might be...
Like, when she got stuck in the...
Yeah.
The other timeline. Yeah, like there was a brief moment after she collapsed on the ground where she could have got up and time traveled again.
Well, I suppose, yeah, before they took it off her, right?
But she didn't, and then because of that, everything, like, all this stuff happened at the end.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have really happened if she just clicked the button. She acted like, oh no, he's going to come for them, but there wasn't really much of a chance that he was going to reach everyone in time, right? Like, they would have probably all gone by the time he even got to one of them.
I think Nebula was given a lot of screen time in this film as well. It's not a bad thing necessarily, because she's one of those like minor characters, and I think they fleshed her out quite well before the whole thing ended. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was quite dissatisfied. Like, the things I was most dissatisfied with in terms of characters was the end to Black Panther. Like, all the character arcs that they finished didn't really. They just showed one shot of him, like, of T'Challa standing over Wakanda in the end, and that was about it, right? They didn't really give him any more story.
Yeah, now, for Pompaliwood fans, Black Panther's my favourite superhero. And
Pompaliwood fans?
I don't want to, like, be too biased to him, but
he's your favourite.
He really didn't do anything, right? Like, there wasn't there wasn't much kind of. There's nothing to do with his character in Endgame.
Yeah, but it's more for his like strength. I mean, the only thing he
Yeah.
did was like when they were playing Baton with Thanos's Infinity Gauntlet for a while.
Yeah.
Or I mean the one Iron
Yeah.
Man made. That was about the only
Yeah.
thing he contributed to.
Yeah, and then Doctor Strange, right?
Yeah, he was.
Doctor Strange didn't do that much, but then he led everyone there as well.
Yeah, and he helped to organize
also,
the whole thing.
Yeah, and he helped to organize all of it, and also we saw a bit with his master and how she was saying that he was supposed to be the best.
Yeah,
so,
I enjoyed the whole.
Even though he didn't get much screen time.
Yeah, I thought his character was probably one of the most interesting in this film because there's that thing about how, in Infinity War he said there'd be 1 out of 14 million something chance. Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool with the scene with Hulk and the Grandmaster lady. So I keep forgetting all these names. And then how he said that. Firstly, the first thing I thought that was pretty cool was she was like, "You're about 5 years too early" and stuff like that, because she had an awareness of like, and she was like, she's the time stone keeper. I thought that was pretty cool. Secondly, I thought it was cool just to like for her to realize, like she thought Doctor Strange made the mistake, right? They're giving the stone willingly to Thanos, and then the scene goes on, and then she realizes it was probably for a reason. I thought that was executed quite well in the film.
Yeah.
Because it also you go.
Yeah, talking about other characters as well, like Spider-Man. He Peter Parker. He had his, he had another kind of character thing going on with his relationship to Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
And Bucky didn't do that much.
Yeah.
But he's still there for Captain America. You could see it a bit at the end.
Yeah.
Even though it is quite depressing that he doesn't become the next Captain America.
Yeah. I'm sure that's going to get a lot of criticism.
I don't know why they did that. I would have preferred Bucky.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know enough about the arcs of them at all, and like enough to make a justified opinion on that. I think Bucky definitely deserved, because I feel like I see him more on screen with Cap. So, yeah. Anyway.
Also, just like when you go to that whole argument about how Black Panther didn't do anything, all these other characters had something that kind of influenced their character. One thing that I can really say about Black Panther is that there was the Ibambe bit.
Yeah. What is that anyway?
I mean, I guess that's kind of important when you think about it, because he was the one that told all the troops to attack.
What does Ibambe mean anyway?
I'm not actually sure.
Alright.
But yeah.
And then of course there's Cap's line with the Avengers Assemble thing. I thought that like coincided really well with the the theme. Dun, 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 dun. That was pretty well done.
Yeah, I do think though that he said it a bit too quietly that not everyone could have heard that.
Yeah.
I think if he shouted it, you could have felt the emotion a bit more. Because you just
I didn't mind it too much.
Black Panther doing the Ibambe thing.
Oh, that was cool.
Like Captain, it was that like you could feel all the warriors' emotions and stuff, and then and like the heat of battle, and then you just have Captain America going Avengers Assemble.
Yeah.
And then it didn't really live up to that. It kind of got a bit quenched.
Some people might say it stands out because instead of shouting it like you would expect, it's more like serious, I guess. But last thing about the score, I'm gonna stop talking about the score really soon because I'm a music nerd. If you search up Avengers Endgame Portal's theme song, that's basically the thing that plays in the background. The best part of that is probably around 1 minute 40. The part that goes, you might know what I'm talking about, Luke. The part that goes dun 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 dun. Yeah, that part. I thought that was really well done. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. Enough talk about the score.
Yeah, I think we should probably
go to the next one. I don't know how long we've been streaming.
I think we've already talked enough about Endgame.
Alright, Endgame. There's still so much we can talk about, but still, we don't want to flood the whole... We've already flooded the whole stream with Endgame talk, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's still good.
I said come back in 5 minutes. It's been, what, 15 minutes by now?
Oh, rip. Well, it's a good thing only, maximum 5 people watch these things, so it's all good. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Final rating for Endgame. I gave it a modest 9.6 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I would give it about... Wait, let me do this math here. I'd give it
impromptu.
Yeah, actually, I give it the same 9.6.
And 1.6 out of 10.
Out of
So
my
this,
special rating system, because for Pompaliwood fans, what I do, I divide them into categories.
yeah.
Then I just find the average. So yeah, the average would probably come up around 9.6. So I just did the math.
And he puts it up on his IG as well, sometimes.
Yeah, put it up on Instagram.
Give the fellow Luke.
From Pompaliwood Production Instagram, which you should still follow anyway, because we have updates on our projects, which we should be talking about now.
Right now, and I just changed the slide. All right. So, we want to talk quickly about our uninvited, like just really quickly, so we can.
Yeah. So
yeah. All right. Cool.
I think. Do you think we should go a bit more in depth? Because obviously, you did the director's commentary.
Yeah. I mean, even if you just talk for maybe 20 seconds about it or so, just because the people watching don't know what you thought about it and how you thought it went and everything. So.
Yeah. So pretty much how I think uninvited went. I think it had
the makings.
It had the potential to be really good.
Yeah.
But just with, I don't know, just a lot of things happened that night. We
sounds very ominous.
We ended up rushing a bunch of stuff in.
Oh, heck
I don't know what happened, but because I didn't edit it, Kevin edited it because that's what Kevin does. He's pretty pro
and slow.
So, yeah,
pro and slow.
He makes them vids, so pretty much.
Yeah, bit of trivia.
You cut out a few scenes, didn't you?
What's that?
And I think we even skipped scenes because we were
I've already said this in the commentary,
but we had to film it all in one night, and we even skipped out scenes. Like we only skipped out like one or two, but
no, we skipped out like
much.
A bunch, maybe a few, and then on top of that, we lost some as well.
So that's what that made it very muddled and kind of hard to know what was happening.
Yeah,
I couldn't really let it shine because originally we had a death scene for Jules.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then on the original script, and we just didn't film it because we didn't have enough time. So we just thought that it wasn't important enough.
You know what I should totally do?
Just write him off as dying, like when he.
I should start a Twitter account, right? And then I should like tweet a link to the script so people can see.
Yeah.
Or maybe not Twitter. I just thought Twitter because they couldn't really do it on Instagram because that's like photos and everything. But
Yeah. No. Yeah, we can do it on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh well, there you go, guys.
We'll make a Pompaliwood Twitter account.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to be on all the social media. So.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway.
So that's pretty much happened with Uninvited.
Yeah. I mean, I've already voiced my opinion on it. In the commentary, I thought it turned out well. Like I was bracing myself for the worst, and I was expecting the worst. So I ended up actually being impressed when I watched the whole thing back.
Yeah, there were quite a few good shots in it, I think.
Yeah, I tried to be.
The intro was. I really liked the intro that you did there. So
Yeah,
Kevin did that all by himself.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the whole map thing.
Yeah, and I drew that thing as well. It took me ages.
So yeah, I think now that we've talked about Uninvited, what else can we talk about?
On top of that one,
I think we should talk about our projects that are coming up. So it's kind of a surprise. So I'm not going to spoil it that much.
Mm-hmm.
But
go on, Luke.
So our next video should be released soon, within the next week. Hopefully.
Are we releasing it separately, or are we doing the bulk release? Are we? Oh wait, no. Are you talking about the?
Yeah.
The extension.
So we're releasing it separately.
Oh yes.
So this actually, Kevin. When's the one that you've been editing? When do you think that'll be finished?
I have a bit of homework tomorrow. I might be able to finish it tomorrow, depending on that. It's like very extreme. Like my work output. Sometimes it's like either I get nothing done or I get like the whole thing done. So I reckon latest end of next week.
Yeah, so the latest is probably going to be the end of next week, but there'll be another one coming out that should be before that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that one's going to be a pretty big thing. So I filmed it in the school holidays about a week ago. And
I wasn't there for it because I was in the Philippines.
It only has 3 people in it. But anyway, Anthony, who's another one of our crew. he's actually got a YouTube channel, which is Ants.
Yeah, he does.
Capital A-N-T and then capital Z. I have him in my channel link description. Well, I have him. So on my channel, I've got him in my featured channels. So
Yeah.
If you want to check him out, then go to that. And yeah, so he's been editing that one. We're giving Kevin a break because Kevin's been a bit busy.
Yeah, I have been a bit busy.
So, and also he wants to edit something as well because he doesn't like that.
Oh, what is he using to edit, by the way?
He's using HitFilm.
Yo. Oh, that's why Matthew was playing around with that the other day. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So pretty much, it's a little thing. We had a really small crew, 3 people, and I'm hoping it can turn out pretty well.
Did you get all the scenes? So this is the first time I'm hearing about it as well, guys. So this will be like a 2-part conversation. Did you get many scenes done?
Oh yeah, we did all of them.
You did all of them?
One night.
Alright.
No, it was over 2 days. But like the first scene only took about 10, 20 minutes to film. It wasn't biggie.
Oh,
and
wow.
the rest of it took maybe half an hour. It's not a lot. It's not going to be long. Like Uninvited. How long was Uninvited? 12 minutes or something.
Yeah.
It's after. That wasn't even supposed to be the full thing either.
Yeah, exactly. I was expecting it to be like concisely about 8 minutes and everything.
Yeah.
And I'd like.
But I can. If you follow the Instagram account, what Kevin's editing, you probably already know, but that's a mini series that we're creating called Phantom Thief.
Mm-hmm.
And
we dropped the name.
Much, huh?
We dropped the name. This is the first time they'll be hearing about it, right?
I think I did put it on the Instagram.
Okay, never mind.
I can't remember that. But so that's going to be an interesting thing, though. It starts off pretty slowly, so.
Yeah. And
the episodes, I don't think are going to be that long, but I think the second episode is about to get underway with the scripting.
Yeah. And the each episode is going to be like it's not going to be as long as Uninvited, obviously. Maybe not even as long as How to Convince People.
3-4 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're trying out different formats with this is the mini series.
This is. Do I think it'll be good? I don't think it'll be that good.
It'll be different.
Right? Yeah, we're trying new things. We're going to new frontiers.
I mean, I'm the funnest thing I've had doing Phantom Thief, like episode 1 at least, is the scoring, because I'm also doing the scoring for it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be pretty good. So yeah, Phantom Thief. We've got 3 episodes planned for that one.
Yeah, I think I've been mapping out a bunch of projects to do. I think at the moment, so Phantom Thief. I'm just gonna tell you guys this. I'm not gonna think of it as biggie of keeping it undercover, keeping it a secret. But it's gonna have 3 episodes. I'm imagining at the moment because I'm the one that's usually doing the script for that. So
Luke's already done the script for number 1. I think. Have you started on any of the other 2?
No, I haven't started actually writing out the script for number 2, but I've got everything. I've written down everything that's going to happen in it.
Yeah.
I just haven't put it into a script yet.
All right. We're not going to drop the name on the other project, right? Are we? Or no?
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. All right.
That's going to be a surprise, so you should.
Yeah, we're going to pace it out as much as we can.
Yeah, bro. This is a secret thing. You guys are going to watch it and you're going to go, But for you to understand it, you got to watch all of our videos. I mean, you don't have to watch the director's commentary, but you can watch it if you want.
It'd be pretty cool if you did. But...
Yep.
Get us some extra views.
Yep. Extra views. So, I mean, and I think, so after that, we've got 1 more film mapped out. Oh no, 2 more films mapped out after all the Phantom Thief episodes are done.
Yeah.
And
they're all related.
Our undercover project, secret project that's going to come out soon.
Oh, I think I know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So, and those 2 are actually, I'm predicting to be quite long videos as well. So that should be interesting.
I hope the future ones will be a bit better than Uninvited, because so far this is basically all the videos we've done, right? We've done How to Convince People You're a Pirate. That was really good because that was for a media studies project.
I think that's our best one.
Yeah, and even
we also spent the most time on that one.
Exactly, and we did a storyboard and everything. It was for a media studies project, so it was quite it was made to a high standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely different as well. And Tyler was.
I think we got excellence for that.
Yeah, no, I think originally we got merit, and then we changed
we got merit, and we could resubmit.
Yeah, because we weren't meeting some of the like criteria, but that turned out really well. And then we've got an Monster on the Loose. I probably should have started with that because that's the first one we made, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like
I wasn't a part of the first one.
well, it's kind of like a joke series anyway. And Luke helped to develop the this is the franchise, I guess. He worked on it with I think Mikal and
Tyler.
Yeah, Mikal and Tyler for the second one. Watch that. It's probably our most recent thing, right?
Yeah, it's the second one. Yeah.
Well, if you haven't seen that,
part 2.
yeah, go watch that now. It's definitely like
Yeah. I liked it. Which one do I think is better, the second one or the first one?
I don't know.
I think
the thing I love most about that like joke series is that it's got a bunch of horror movie cliches, right? Like build ups and stuff. But if you just looking at the thing like plot wise and just as a short film, it's like really bad. Like it's really badly made. I think that's probably like the thing
if I was to compare the two, I'd say the second one is better quality. Like I'd say, but then the first one is better, probably maybe all round.
I'll tell you what, I laughed so hard when I watched the second one because Luke and them made it. I hadn't seen it until he uploaded it on YouTube, and I just cracked up laughing at that one.
Yeah, Tyler edited it pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you use for it? What do you use to edit?
I don't even know.
Some like
I think he used
online browser.
Like really bad or something.
Nah, he did a good job with it. You guys did a good job.
Yeah, it did a good job.
And I was happy that he used some of the same sound cues and everything as well. In the second part. Yeah. Anyway, so we've got those two.
Yeah, because didn't he get some of the sounds from you from when you made
Yeah, he asked me for the I'm not going to tell you where the sound's from because it's probably copyrighted. For the intro, the build up.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. For some reason, I thought of adding that to the very very first one when we were making it. I was like, oh, this would fit perfectly with the intro, and it did. It was really cool. It sounded really good. Yeah. Should we move on to the last slide segment? Yeah. I think we're missing anything about Pompaliwood. I mean, that's basically we'll keep you guys updated like every now and then.
I don't want to reveal all our things. Yeah.
It just goes on a spiel about everything we're doing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Luke's probably gonna have the most fun talking about this on TV shows. We've been talking for about an hour, so it's probably time to
40 minutes.
Conclude. Oh, really?
So
all right, my watch is wrong. Right, anyway, so we've got images of Cobra Kai here. I think season 2 just started, Luke?
Yep. Season 2 came out. It was a few days ago.
Did they release it
I don't know if it's been a week yet. But anyway, I've already watched it and that was fire.
All right. For the people who don't know what Cobra Kai is, I know what it's about, but is it it's a comedy, right? It's action comedy, right?
Yeah. I guess.
Is it more action
comedy, but it's also a drama.
Yeah.
As well.
I mean, in this one, yeah, go for it.
It's pretty much the sequel to the Karate Kid, the Karate Kid franchise that the good old 80s movie.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of the recurring cast. And the second season wasn't as good as the first, but it was pretty good. And I don't want to spoil it too much for you, Kevin, so I won't talk that much about it.
Oh yeah, all good.
But I will say, Cobra Kai's biggest strength is definitely the characters.
Yeah.
And it's got a really good soundtrack as well. As well as
I wonder who composed for it.
The choreography is probably, it's pretty basic because obviously it's just kind of a net series.
Yeah, YouTube Red,
Yeah, it doesn't have the best budget. Pretty much, you see that fat guy up there?
Stingray.
The top right corner.
That's Luke's favorite.
Stingray. Right, he's my favorite character.
I just realized the kid behind him.
Shot with him.
You see the kid behind him?
Every shot with him is just it's hilarious.
Does he steal the shows?
Yeah, and the thing is that even though he's just kind of there for the comedy, right? He actually does have some character development as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really what I was saying about the characters. Like each character has at least some development.
Just looking at Stingray right now makes me kind of want to laugh as well. Because he looks like a funny guy.
Yeah, just the way you can tell from his facial expression.
Yeah, and how he wears
Yeah.
the bandana and everything.
Yeah. So and also that dude with the mohawk and
Yeah.
the bottom one. Yeah. So a lot of people haven't liked him in the last season, but I actually do
He looks kind of
enjoy
mean.
it.
Is he a villain?
The thing is that he's made that progression because at the end of the last season, he was turning into a bully. So he just wanted to be cool, and now he's turning into a bully, and then you can see that more in season 2. And as it goes on, you get a bit more of his backstory and why. Because he used to be a wimp.
Really?
Yeah, so because he was like bullied and stuff, because he's got this thing with his lip. I don't know what the proper medical condition is. I don't think it's not a cleft lip, but
You can say his name. It's not a spoiler to say his name.
Oh, no, I'm talking about his medical condition here. It's this like lip thing.
Oh yeah. What's his name though?
That's why he's bullied. Oh yeah, his name's like Eli. I can't remember his last name.
Oh yeah.
But then everyone calls him Hawk because the and you can really see him develop as well. Like he gets more angry as it goes on because he's got that internal conflict, right? Like there was a scene. You could tell he was still deep down. He was still a pretty good guy.
I mean, those types of characters are really good. Like the ones that are like reluctantly heroes, or the other way around, like villains who aren't, who have some.
Yeah, but he just wants because he's always been bullied, so all he's ever wanted is to be popular.
Oh, true.
And have friends, So, and now that a lot of people like him because he's like a badass.
People like him actually.
Yeah, so he's got friends and stuff, so he doesn't want to lose that. So of course he just doesn't understand that. Like he's losing what's most important to him.
Yeah.
Another way.
I mean,
so he's not realizing what he had until he's lost it.
Do you think eventually he'll revert back into being like, the stronger protagonist?
I think he'll revert back to being a good guy eventually.
Yeah.
I can see it because you had a bit of him and his friend, this guy called Dimitri, who Dimitri's a weakling as well. And Dimitri even stated that even though he was never popular, he still had at least some friends. And that's because he was friends with Hawk before he became Hawk, so when he was just Eli. And so now he's lost that friend because he's turned into a bully and stuff.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty good character arc.
Yeah. So there was a lot of good character arcs, and then also the soundtrack's really good. Fits in with the...
Yeah, I'll definitely have a look at the who composed for it. There are.
Yeah, I think one of the soundtracks towards the end of season 2 is Cruel Summer by Carrie Kim.
It was like what, sorry?
It's Cruel Summer.
Cool Summer, okay.
Cruel Summer, yeah.
Is this like a song, or is it just a, something?
It's a song. I think it was made especially for
season 2. Good.
But it's a pretty good song. It has some meaning behind it. From the lyrics and stuff. But yeah.
It fits quite well.
Also, the acting was amazing from most of the main cast. So
yeah.
There was this bit where this girl, Sam, the actor was just kind of smiling like an idiot.
So the acting's generally pretty good.
Episodes. Yeah, just kind of looking like they just didn't know what they were doing.
What do you think about how it's like directed like as a whole? Like, do you like the shots?
Oh yeah, it's good.
It looks pretty. Would you say unique?
Yeah, it's very unique. I haven't watched a TV show like it in ages. It's really similar to the old Karate Kid movies. Obviously, it's modernized.
Yeah.
So it is different, but it has a lot of the same kind of feel.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing now. Like bringing back older films,
like reboots and stuff.
Yeah, modernizing them.
Yeah, I do think that the original Karate Kids are quite a bit better than Cobra Kai. But
it's hard to compare that to a
yeah. It's just the fact that Cobra Kai doesn't only serve as a Karate Kid style TV series, but also as a teen drama.
Yeah.
Which is
so a lot of people could appreciate it. Is it what's the rating on? Is it M rating?
I'm not actually sure.
Probably between the PG and M range.
Yeah. Because there is some breaking stuff.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I mean,
So
not much, but
well, I'm definitely gonna start watching it when I have time. Season 1's 8 episodes long, right? And season 2 is also 8 episodes.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I mean, and each one is 30 minutes as well. You said.
It's about 25 to 35.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good run time for each episode.
Yeah.
So that's on my list.
Yeah. Anyway, has there been any other TV shows? I mean, obviously Game of Thrones. But neither of us watched that. So.
Yeah, we wanted to get Matthew, one of our crew as well, to talk about it, probably for a long time, because he's quite passionate about it. I mean, he hasn't read the books, but he likes the TV series a lot. He thinks it's the best thing.
Yeah, I mean, I want to get into it, but there's just so many episodes now, and each episode's an hour, so...
Yeah, and
I'm not really sure.
There's a lot of story and stuff to catch up. It's really well made,
though. It's also one of the things where... it's just one of those style of things where I just can't binge watch.
Yeah.
I just prefer to go slowly.
Like, you know it's going to be really good, but...
Yeah, it's because each episode has pretty much the feel of a movie.
Yeah. Very cinematic.
Yeah.
Definitely gaming.
Yeah.
Alright, so should we talk about this third season? We got in the bottom right corner here. Well, you can't see it, but...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk briefly. I don't really watch many TV shows anyway, but...
Yeah, me neither.
Have you seen the first 2 episodes of it, Luke? Of 2 seasons of Stranger Things?
I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen the whole.
Of it.
I did watch like around the end of season 2, so I know like kind of
how it folds out and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of nitpicks with the series as a whole, like in terms of how it relies a lot on like 80s nostalgia kind of. So it's not a bad thing, but sometimes it over relies on it.
And if any of you guys have not gone, we talk about Strange Things season 3.
Yeah, season 3. So I just recently saw the trailer for it. I was pretty impressed. It's like they're adding a lot of new characters to it, or at least a few. I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah. And the editing and the effects seem quite good from the trailer. I mean, Luke, you haven't seen the trailer for it yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
So I'm just speaking for myself here. But I think predictions right now, I think it'll do quite well because of they're keeping some of the old ones. Keeping most of the old characters and the cast and everything. It's been delayed by quite a while though because of how like most of the cast are kids, obviously, Stranger Things, and they've had to shift around the schedule a lot. It's been delayed by about 1 year or a year and a half. So a lot of fans are really either really wanting to see this or just kind of giving up on it. Personally, I gave up on it after a while. After it got its like second pushback, I was like, I'm not waiting another 6 months or so for this to drop. But right now, I'm kind of after watching the trailer. I think it succeeded in the way that it made me want to get back into the series. It actually kind of made me want to rewatch the series. And I watched a bit of it again when I was in the Philippines because I was like, oh, this could actually be a great next season that they've been making.
It's definitely a different feel. I mean, it's just a different show, and I think that's why it's gotten popular.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people really like the atmosphere of it.
Especially in this day, it's a lot harder for people to make original shows.
Exactly, and the fact that it's made by Netflix as well. Like, they make good shows, but, very, very rarely.
Yeah.
I would say this one's good. A lot of people, like, I said this to Luke earlier, it's quite, like, I'd say it's overrated, alright? It's not bad, but it's overrated because, again, the plot's pretty, like, you can't really blame it for having a generic plot because that's what it's trying to kind of go for, like, that, like how in the 80s,
plot is pretty generic.
A lot of people believe there was, like, in 80s America, like, government experiments and UFOs and stuff like that. So it kind of plays on that for, like, most of the story. And that's fine. Like, you can't really say it's an original story, but it's interesting.
I mean, I'd say, it's the first thing that's really done something like how it has.
Yeah.
I mean, it's similar in some ways to other films or TV shows, but it's really the main plot. Like, there's all the different dimensions and stuff.
Yeah, and that's been used a lot of times.
Yeah, that has been used a lot of times, but in this way, not really.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not completely ripped off of anything. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
But
it's not. It's almost completely original, but it's got those cliches.
Yeah. Yeah, but definitely the best thing about the movie, I mean, sorry, the TV shows, we're talking about TV shows, is like the atmosphere and how it's aware of how it's like doing a good job. And like for example, a lot of people get nostalgic over Stranger Things, and it's mostly people who aren't even born in the 80s, right? So if you're, a filmmaker or a TV show director and you've done that,
Yeah.
like made people nostalgic over um period of time where they haven't even been born yet, I think that's pretty good filmmaking right there, creating an atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. The thing that stands out most about
Yeah.
the TV series. So do you think you'd get into it, Luke, at any point? Probably before Game of Thrones or after Game of
Just
Thrones?
the things that I don't have Netflix. So.
Yeah, I mean, you could always go the alternative route,
Let's not talk about that.
We'll talk about that. I'll ruin our image on Pompaliwood. Anyway, so you want to wrap this up because that's basically everything there is to talk about.
Yeah, I think there's one more thing I want to talk about.
Yep, shoot.
TV shows.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, this is actually an anime. They don't. Yeah.
No, go for it because we haven't actually talked about anything anime.
I just want to talk about One Punch Man season 2. That's the main thing I want to talk about.
I could kind of talk about that.
Just to wrap things up.
Yeah.
Like, have you watched any of the One Punch Man season 2 episodes?
No, I haven't. I'm very late behind all these things.
Oh, Kevin, I'm disappointed.
Yeah. Have you? Did they release it all together, or did they?
Oh no, they don't release it all together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think last time I checked, there were 3 episodes that have been released.
Oh yeah. So you've seen 3?
So it's pretty good. I would say that the animation isn't on the standard of season 1, but that's because they changed animation companies or studios.
That's a shame because a lot of people, including myself, and yourself, obviously, they that's like the meat of the series, like is the animation.
Yeah. And the thing the reason I want to talk about One Punch Man season 2 is that it's such a popular series.
It doesn't take itself too seriously, does it?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. If you guys don't know what One Punch Man season 2 is, you should check it out. It's pretty much it's a show, an animated show that's a parody of superheroes.
Yeah.
So there's this dude, and he literally one punches everything.
Yeah, hence the name.
There'll be a monster that comes up, and he just one punches it. And it's really interesting because he's an OP character, done right.
Yeah.
And there are characters that are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
The characters aren't stale or something.
Nah. I mean, and the times that they are stale, like everything seems like it's done on purpose. Like you can tell that the original creators of do you know who animated the manga for this, or who created it?
Yeah, one.
Yeah, you can tell that guy really had like a lot of fun playing with all these genre tropes and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it just started out as a webcomic.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like you could feel that sustained throughout. Like I'm assuming the manga and the anime as well. Like it's very.
Yeah, of course. The anime is going off the manga and not the original webcomic, which is illustrated by I think it's Yusuke Murata.
Ah, I see. So
he's some dude that made another popular series, but we didn't need to get into that. So anyway, he's a good artist, so that's why the art is so good. Because one is pretty, he's not a good artist. He's pretty bad.
Just a good storyteller, I'm guessing. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think the villain in One Punch Man season 2, he's pretty good.
Garrow, eh? All right.
Yeah, Garrow.
Again, we'll keep it spoiler free.
Too much for you, so
yeah.
I'm not going to talk about it that much because One Punch Man, it's a pretty good show.
From the things that I know, like I can't really spoil anything now because the things I would know, other people would probably know. Like they develop King's character, or at least they talk more about King and Garou and Saitama. That's basically it. That's what I know.
Yeah. You know what? I think there's not much more I can talk about One Punch Man season 2 at this point.
Other than that, I'm really hyped to start it. I'm not hyped for it to come out. I'm just hyped to find time to start it.
Yeah, like there's not much more I can say about it without spoiling you.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's good. It's not as good as season 1.
Yeah.
But it's still good. It's still good. It's still worth watching.
That's how it usually goes with like you said yourself, season 2 of Cobra Kai wasn't that good, but it's still good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you'd expect, because season 2 of most TV shows kind of rides off the success of the first one, and that helps it to propel stuff. Anyway, so do you think it's time to press end stream and
Yep,
schedule?
I think it's about time to wrap this up.
Yeah, wrap this up.
So remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
That is a must.
And also follow the Instagram page, which is just Pompaliwood.productions.
Yeah, we've done a bunch of advertising in the comments and the description.
Yeah, we've got, so pretty much on the Instagram channel, on the Instagram account.
Yeah.
Just so you actually know why this Instagram account. Pretty much upload teaser pictures, just new updates occasionally.
Yeah. And I feel like we should upload just a tiny bit more, because even if it's not like an announcement or a teaser, just so that people know that we're still like, we're a high school short film like company, I guess. So people might think sometimes that we're like either like not making films anymore or anything.
Yep, and also if you want to, you're free to join the Discord channel.
Yeah, we talk
it's
about
pretty much a fan group, if I forgot to say anything else. So
hopefully no one's made an chat to each other. Hopefully no one's made an not safe for work chat on it.
Oh yeah.
Because some of our crew do that.
As far as I know, I've made that.
Alright. Anyway, so just about done. I'm gonna press. I'm on Google Slides, by the way, guys.
Just remember to subscribe to our channels. It
really would help.
It really helps. It helps.
Should we just quickly schedule time for our next stream? Our next podcast / stream.
Hopefully it won't be this late. But
it's
Saturday again. The only reason why it's this late is because I think you had something going on.
Should we do it every We haven't actually talked about this, guys. Should we do it every fortnight?
Every fortnight? No, I think we should do it every week.
Because if you do it, I was thinking about doing it every week, but like not a lot of new stuff happens in between the weeks in terms of like TV shows or movies or anything.
Yeah, but there's like a new film coming out.
Alright, okay, we'll do it next week and see how it goes.
Especially with this next week where the new film's expected to come out.
Yeah.
Talk about this. And obviously I'm hoping it should be around 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, but I was eating dinner at 8 o'clock because I went to watch Endgame at 3:45, and once it was 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
and you were disappointed.
We had kind of rushed, Yeah.
All right, cool. So next week, hopefully.
Kevin also had something on, and Matthew couldn't make it. So
yeah, why couldn't Matthew make it?
He's gone to watch Endgame for the second time.
Damn, alright. Well, I can't say it's a bad reason to not show up, but anyway, I'm going to end the stream now, so.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
You know what? Have fun. Subscribe.
Someone liked it. Alright, see ya.